All right, Lady Ada, we're here. This is Show and Tell.
Yeah, we're here at the Show and Tell, which is our weekly salon of electronic joy. Okay, we're going to have people show up, and there's some people already here. We'll call on you in the order we see you. Right now, the order is going to be Tony, Decola, then Noah and Pedro, Lewis, Vincent, C. Scott, and then the second Noah, Rosamila.
This is smart doing it this way. We've been doing this for 2 years. It's a good idea because then they know they're ready in their demos and everything.
Yeah, I'm just doing what you do.
I normally don't write it down. You write it down.
I'm writing it down so that I don't forget. And then anyone else who comes in will go afterwards. So
this is why you're the engineer. This is why you make.
I engineered this.
Yeah, this is
engineering.
This is the way you make the big bucks.
Okay. No, sorry. So we're calling you in order in that order, and then to get your demo ready and mute your mic, and we call on you, just unmute your mic and show off your awesome project. We might have some more people showing up, so try to take like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna start with Tony. Tony's
first up,
one of our Adafruit team members. Tony, what you got this week?
Take it away.
Yeah, so I've been playing with these guys. This is the DHT temperature and humidity sensor. And I've cleaned up the Arduino library and fixed some of the small issues that it had. So if you use it with an Arduino, check it out, and added a few small features. But I've also been working on getting it to work with the BeagleBone Black. There's already code that works on the Raspberry Pi, and getting it to work on the BeagleBone Black is pretty interesting. And I'll show you real quickly the most interesting thing. So the tough thing is that the timing for this is pretty critical. So you need to detect pulses that are about 20 microseconds or so, maybe even up to like 50 microseconds. So what you're looking at here is just the BeagleBone Black, and I'm just toggling an I/O pin. And there are 2 ways to toggle I/O in Linux. There might be more, but this is the 2 big ways are using sysfs, which is basically a file system that's on top of the GPIO, and so you use the Linux file commands like reading and writing to files. And that's what's happening right here. So I've got sysfs just toggling a pin high and low, and you can see it's only getting about maybe 135, 140 kilohertz or so of a rate of toggling the pin. So it's pretty slow. It's too slow actually to read these DHT sensors. So I'll switch real quickly. The other way to deal with I/O is memory mapping. And so that's basically you take the registers that control the I/O and you map them into your process memory, and then you can directly toggle those. So every time you set the pin high or low, you're just changing memory. You're not making a system call and have all this overhead. So when you do this, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can actually see, it's down to about maybe 200 nanoseconds for each pulse, and so you get about maybe 2.8 megahertz or so of a rate of change. So it's pretty quick, an order of magnitude faster. And with that, it's fast enough to actually read this DHT sensor. So you send a certain set of pulses and then read them back, decode it. So it's pretty slick, and it's interesting just to dive into the GPIO here and see how things work. And it's kind of nice that you've got the capability to do things pretty quickly, but you don't have a real-time guarantee. So you can see this flickers, and sometimes the pulse width changes, and that's just because the process might get interrupted. The kernel might butt in, and something else has to take over priority-wise, and that's just a trade-off of running a machine that has full Linux. So you've got to deal with the other tasks that are running. So that's basically what I got this week.
Okay, that's cool. So you're doing some BeagleBone Black bit banging.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Okay.
At 2.8 megahertz.
All right, that's pretty fast. So yeah, it's interesting to see how much overhead is added by the Linux system, file system, bit banging versus poking memory directly. This is really fast. This is this fast enough to like drive NeoPixels directly from a pin?
Maybe. I think when I played with it, you could do it with like a 6 megahertz SPI bus. If you tweak things, so you might be able to do it this way. I might play with it later and see if you can do it. So it's pretty close.
Okay.
The other thing with the sensor, there's a kernel driver in the upcoming 3.14 kernel, which will be kind of handy. So people that use these sensors, it'll be in the kernel. It can actually deal with multitasking and kind of stop the process from switching. So things will be better in the future. But this will be nice, at least from user space, to be able to read this sensor.
Okay. Thank you for the update, Tony. You
Cool.
get. And is that your you're gonna show and tell secret? But is that the oscilloscope that you won in the Hackaday contest?
It is. Yeah, this is the OWAN DS710 or 7102. It's pretty nice. I've never had a digital scope, so it's everything's pretty awesome to me.
And
but
you
I
also
like it so far.
cat next to that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's critical to have the cat nearby.
Okay, good. All right.
It's a default install now for all.
Okay, it's like, well, you have to have a really good multimeter, really good scope, and a cat in a box. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Next up is Noah and Pedro, also part of Team Adafruit. Paul joined. You'll go after Noah.
Yeah.
But right now we'll go to Noah and Pedro.
All right, guys. What you got this week?
Guys. So this week we're taking a look at the Celestron First Scope, which is a telescope. It's a 300 millimeter telescope that we have in the shop for about, I think, $60.
Yeah.
And we took it out, and it's summertime, so it's pretty clear skies for the most part. And we figured we'd make a tripod mount for it. It comes with a base that's kind of like a swivelly dually, and it's not really the best to take it outside. So we figured a tripod mount would be really nice.
Yep.
So that's really cool. And
Nice work, Vanna White there.
we wanted to take some photos of what we were seeing. So these guys use like a standard eyepiece, so we figured we'd make like another little adapter, but this time for your camera phone. So that way you can put it on your camera phone and take photos of whatever you're taking a look at. So we put together a guide on the Adafruit Learning System, so you can tweak the design to make it work with your phone and your tripod.
Okay.
Yeah, what
sweet.
I really like about this scope is it's called like my first scope. Telescopes are normally expensive. I mean, the way they did this is really clever, and the goal is to get more people, especially young people, into astronomy. And one of the things that when we got this, we said, well, this is just ripe for hacking. So, every young person has a cell phone. And so, you need to make a camera.
Yeah, you have to take photos to share with your friends. You have to take moon selfies.
Yeah.
That includes like Wi-Fi and like picture taking, but it's like $2,000, man. This is
Yeah.
So I think this is a really neat example of taking a low-cost thing and then building on top of it and turning it into, there are telescopes that do all these things. It's basically like a phone strap to the side.
They should have. It's interesting that they should have like a mount that comes with it for like
They
a
do,
popular
but
phone.
again, they are pricey.
Yeah, there's like specific telescopic lenses for the iPhone, and this is this thing's massive. It dwarfs the iPhone in size, and it gets pretty awesome photos.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, looking forward to it, and you guys are looking good. Nice HD video broadcasting.
And then you have like a 3D printed Adabot. Pal, what?
It looks.
For the little chess or for other projects.
What is it?
That's for an upcoming project.
Sizes
Different.
Yeah. Okay. Next up.
All right. Next up, Lewis.
Hey, Lewis. Welcome back.
Hey, yeah, it's awesome being back. So what I've got, the project I'm doing today is a blue mote. So I'm going to switch over to this camera. So what the blue mote is it's a Bluetooth remote for like XBMC and iTunes with the Adafruit Easy Key and a 3D printed enclosure. So in here I've got like a micro LiPo and a LiPo charger. And then I've got the Adafruit Easy Key on a PermaProto. So I'm going to give a quick demo on how this works.
Okay.
So I'm going to zoom out a little. So, it works really well for controlling XBMC. So now you don't have to get out of your warm, cozy bed to change the video on XBMC.
And the nice thing is that you don't have to be line of sight. You can be pointing in any direction.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's really awesome.
Okay.
And then I designed the case for it in Autodesk Inventor, and then I printed it out on my printer bot.
Great. Wow, check you out. You're like inventing the future.
Oh, thanks.
This is cool. And so, how do you like the printer bot, by the way?
Oh, yeah, really good. It's actually the older model PrinterBot Junior, but it's really nice.
Yeah, that's the one we have around here, and we like it too. That's cool. So you got an all-in-one thing going on. All right. Well, you got plenty of room for a seen on the show and tell sticker.
Oh, yeah,
for your
thanks.
project. So
right.
email support@adafruit.com, and you'll get it as seen on the show and tell sticker. And
Thanks for dropping by.
Thanks.
Yep. Okay. Next up.
Next up,
on the list
Vincent.
is Vincent. Hey, Vincent. How's it going?
All right.
Oh.
You have to turn on your. I think we lowered his volume.
Okay. Let me get you back. Okay. Try again. Here you go.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. When we talk, there's a little feedback, so we're not going to talk.
Okay. So I showed up a couple weeks ago with my DeltaBot 3D printer, and one thing I really like the design. It's really fast, has a lightweight end effector, but one of the things that's kind of a pain sometimes is getting the bed leveled properly. because all the delta geometry. And so I really liked the auto leveling work that the community's been doing. So, originally I had this little mechanical probe that has like this little Allen key that sticks down, and a spring holds it tight against this little micro switch, and when it hits the bed, it releases the switch. And that was cool and it was interesting, but there's a lot of like wiggle and stuff, and just wasn't really mechanically reliable. So I ended up switching to something else. I'll turn the camera around here. I switched over to these force sensing resistors, and you can see back under there's a little board with a little LED, and it has an AT Tiny on it. And these force sensing resistors, I have 3 of them, and they're all wired to this board with the AT Tiny, and so they're all reading the input values from all 3 and averaging it, and so it learns to ignore like the bed resting on it and stuff, and so it just looks for little deviations or bigger deviations from the average, so like when the bed gets hit. So I can go ahead and do a quick little demo here. So you can see the LED back there lights up when it gets touched. And I'll go ahead and run an auto level procedure really quick. You can see how it looks. Basically, it just probes the bed in a bunch of places and then creates like a depth map all over. And when it prints, it just prints according to the shape of the surface. So like if your surface is a little concave or convex, it accounts for that. And so that was the whole procedure right there. And it's been printing really well. I actually printed this 2-layer thick card here with it, and yeah, it's been really cool. And yeah, the whole idea was based off of some people in the DeltaBot community, so I just want to say thanks to them. It's been really awesome.
Yeah, very cool. We don't have a DeltaBot yet, but one day we hope to in the store.
Yeah, no, I think DeltaBots are so cool, and I love the elegance and simplicity. And this is a great leveler. That's a nice.
I like that idea where you tap the different places.
Yeah, it's held in 3 places, so you know it's going to be stable, and then it just tick 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 tick, and it creates a map. It reminds me a little bit of like I know when Mike Esty was here talking about the CNC router, the other mill, they also have a system that can handle like a 3D tilt skewed bed for better precision.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you either assume it's level, or you can.
Oh no.
Oh, sorry. I was like, what did I drop?
Yeah.
Sometimes the bed assumes it's completely level and then just figures out what the height is. But this can handle all sorts of tilts, and that's actually what you need to worry about.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it starts like tearing or shifting or bubbling in one location.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. This is a nice leveler.
Yeah.
I can't wait to patent it. Okay, next up. C. Scott.
Yeah, I know. That was everyone has to do the patent.
Sense it up.
All right.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I just finished the customer module, and I said, before I ship it off, I'll show it to you guys, because the second generation of, if you've known what I've talked about in the past, I resurrect old synthesizer technology by making equivalent circuits of the custom chips. And in 2000, 2001, this is the first of my CS80 filters. This is all hand-etched PC boards. This is before, the Osh Park days. But I made it with little plug-in boards so that I could mix and match components to find out what gave me the sound that would, make it sound like the machine I'm trying to replace or the chip I'm trying to...
So you made a modular.
Yeah, it's a modular module.
Okay.
But once I ironed all the bugs out of the design, I sold, here's the production version of it, now on a single board with the standard 5U modular front end. This sold from about 2002 to 2012, and then one of the chips I used was discontinued. There was a plant fire in Lyon, France in 2005, and it destroyed the die masters for a lot of intercell parts.
No!
And they decided not to make any more of this. This is a CA3280. It's a dual transconductor.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But
so sad.
the ones I have in stock now, I keep for old keyboards that use a ton of them, like a Prophet 5 or whatnot. So I went back to the drawing board and I decided to make this version, this uses a different chip. This is a pair of quad VCAs. They're called V2164s, which are made by a company called Cool Audio, which bought the DieMaster rights from Solid State Music when they discontinued the part, because it's used in a lot of top-end mixing consoles and whatnot. But as it so happens, it makes a really good OTA, it makes a good transconductance amplifier. So the customer module I just finished is, if you can see that, this unit here. And this is a 3U wide. It has a VCA added in as a part of my limited edition of this module. But if it's working, you've got two different filters here. There's the high pass and then the low pass. Anyway, in the modular world, people like having control of every aspect of the sound. So you have individual frequency pass bands, you have individual feedback or resonant controls. You got a free input mixer. I'm using the first one. I'm just feeding it off my single voice Crobiax here. The VCA I'm using is a level control for. I'm jacking an LFO in externally from the Crobiax, so it's either up or silent.
That's great.
Okay.
But
Well, I like your show and tell sticker and the Eagle badge. So you, of course.
yeah, those showed up today. Those are my sons. And you said
Yeah.
you put them on that.
Yeah.
So
You, of course, get another one. Send an email to support@adafruit.com, and we're going to try to squeeze in.
Oh yeah, some more people came in.
Yeah, some more folks just came in. So thank you, C. Scott.
Thank you, C. Scott.
That was
Next
really
up.
cool. But be ready at the end. Maybe you could play us out.
Okay.
So just be ready.
I'll see what I can do. I'll hang in.
Noah.
Okay, we're gonna
Not
go
Noah.
to
No, Pedro. Noah.
which Noah? Yeah.
It's Noah.
There he is.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, game menu.
Right. Next
Can you
up
hear
is
me?
Noah. Yeah.
All right. 2 weeks ago, I had the Raspberry Pi controlled Minecraft door, and Phil mentioned that I should try and reverse it and have something in Minecraft activate something in the real world. So I decided to do that, and there's an LED hooked up to my Raspberry Pi. And when I flip the switch, it turns on low, and then a little higher, until it goes up to full brightness.
Wow.
But yeah, that's just one example of the things that you could do with this. You could really expand it to anything. I also wrote a very, very simple and crude API that will let you do things like that.
Craftos.
Very cool. Well, was this
Yeah.
fun? Did you like making this project that now Minecraft is controlling real world
Yep.
thing?
This was very fun.
Okay.
And I've got one more thing. Let me turn the light off. I've got glasses, and if you can see them, but just today we have pens at my house that for some reason have LEDs on the back of them, and when you like push on the LED, it lights up. So I took the two pens apart and took out the LEDs, and I electrical taped them to the sides of my glasses. Now I've got LED glasses.
Okay.
Excellent. Those. So Google Glass, some people have doubts about it, but those are useful, and you can go anywhere.
Those are
with them.
super handy, especially if you're like, you're like at home and you don't want to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Like your parents like turn the lights off and go to bed, but you're like, I'm not done yet. You
Yeah.
can put on your LED glasses and
That's
you can
perfect.
like read comics under the covers or like.
Very
I
cool.
don't know what kids do these days.
Okay,
for
no,
that,
you
but
get an as seen on the show and tell sticker, but also in the note, can you, when you email support@adafruit.com, put please include a Python badge too, because you did some Python for that. So I think you should get a Python badge.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, racking up the badges. Okay, next up we're gonna go to Grant, and then we're gonna go to Paul, and then Nicholas. So if you guys can keep it to like a minute each, speed round, we can get to everybody. Hey, Grant.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Awesome. I'm going to keep this quick. I have a Raspberry Pi powered RC car. Everything's programmed in Python, and data's going over wireless. I'm SSH'd into it and sending data through a Xbox controller.
Cool.
So, it's, I don't know if you can even see inside of it. but I have quite a lot going on, and I have a lot of plans to make this autonomous and use the GPS to drive it around between waypoints. So I'm going to give you a quick demo of it functioning. Actually,
All right.
there we
Let's
go.
drive.
So here on the controller, got left and right, turning the wheels. So I actually have the 16-channel pulse width driver hooked into the motor controller that came with this friend, and it seemed to integrate quite nicely. So I can also slowly increase the speed on the back. So yeah. And, yeah. All right, so that's it from now. I'm definitely gonna be updating this and showing it again.
Okay, cool.
Well, you get an SU on the show and tell sticker, email support@adafruit.com, but do come back and show the progress. The car projects, usually people come and visit, and we saw one that over time, like it was a module, and then they kept adding to it, and then eventually the hangout was broadcasting to the car itself, which is kind of fun.
Cool. Yeah, I have future plans to use OpenCV and the Galaxy S2 to drive it around, but I'm right now kind of stuck trying to do serial communication between a Galaxy S2 and a Raspberry Pi.
Okay,
So
next up we're going to go to Paul, and then we're going to wrap up with Nicholas if you're there, Paul. We could see your desktop,
We can see your
Paul.
desktop, yeah.
Wait, Paul's gone. Well, that was a...
Maybe Paul will come back.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Nicholas.
All right, next up, Nicholas. Hey, Nicholas.
There's a
Hey,
cat.
that's Gizmo the cat.
Hey, Gizmo. That's a good
That's
cat
what I
name.
was going to show and tell. This is what I'm going to show and tell. This is the logic board for the J1772 Hydra. J1772 is the specification for electric vehicle charging stations. Where I work, we have even a higher concentration of electric vehicles than would normally be the case, and a lot of them were leafs and volts that only charge at half of the capacity of the charging station. So I said, well, gosh darn it, they ought to be able to double them up. So I made this. This is a thing that lets you split a charging station between two cars. So there it is in the flesh. Now, naively, you would say, oh, well, I'll just plug in, you're plugging two things into the same outlet. The only reason that this thing is really safe is that part of the communication spec is how much current each car is allowed to charge with. So I take what I get from the host charging station, the amount that the host charging station is telling me, and I cut it in half for each individual car. So that way it's safe, it's compliant with the specification, and you can take 2 volts that would charge, in 4 hours apiece, and have 2 share the same charging station. They charge in the same amount of time, but now that frees up another charging station for somebody else.
Cool. Is the Hydra standard an open standard, or did you kind of have to fight to get it?
No, well, so it's semi-open. There's an open EVSE is the project that inspired me. They're an open hardware, open source charging station. So I was able to leverage their designs quite a bit. I actually did have to buy a copy of the spec from SAE, and I did that. It was only $50, but that filled in a few blanks that I wasn't able to get otherwise. So the spec is not really open, but you can do well enough even if you don't actually go and buy the thing.
That's cool that at least it's not like some car stuff that's like totally closed. Please post up a link because people do ask us about e-vehicle and e-charging specs, and I'm like, I don't know anything about that, but now I'll know where to send them to your project.
Search for OpenEVSE first. There's a Google Code project that has a wiki and everything. But then on one of the pages of that is the Hydra page. I've actually sort of leveraged their wiki to stick my stuff on.
Okay.
But also, if you do a Google search for J1772 Hydra, the first link is going to come back to that page.
Okay, great.
All right. So email support@adafruit.com. You get an SU on the show and tell sticker.
You can stick it on that box.
Cat doesn't get one quite yet. Cat has to do a
Cat has to do a project. Okay.
All right, and it looks like Paul was trying to join in. So Paul, you should come back next week. Looks like you're having an internet connection issue because you're not rendering in. So pop back next week.
My webcam's almost.
It's okay. Yeah, we got your desktop, but pop in next week, and we'll reserve a table for you. See, Scott, can you play us a little music on the way out?
Try something here.
That's great.
You're just gonna go to the cat. You
Yeah.
want, like you want the cat plus the
I
sit.
like the cat and the music.
The cat's a cool.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. Okay, we'll see everybody next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's cat time and cat
Same
channel.
cat time, same
Yeah.
cat channel. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Show and tell. Check out the archive video on YouTube, and we'll be doing Ask an Engineer in just like 1 minute. We'll see you guys in a second. Bye bye.